Yeah, without getting into specifics, obviously, with any quarterback, with any player, really with any quarterback, you want them to feel as comfortable as possible. For young players like Dylan and Shedeur, that's pulling from a lot of different avenues. That's pulling from things that, they've been comfortable with within your system, things that they like. So that's our number one job, right? You want to make your quarterback comfortable. You want to call plays. You want to put in plays that breathe confidence into them as they hear them, as they call them, plays that they know they can make work.
This secret could ruin everything, and apparently Browns OC Tommy Rees just couldn't hold it in anymore. Now he's spilling tea hotter than a sideline meltdown, and it all points straight at Shedeur Sanders' wild development curve. Buckle up, because whatever you think you know is about to get hilariously demolished.
That was Tommy Rees, man, speaking about Shedeur Sanders, pretty much stating that they had a good chance to win the game last week, which I feel like they did. A couple players could have made the catch. Shedeur made some great throws, but at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to adjust to a team that pretty much you have no chemistry with. See, Shedeur lacking chemistry with this team is going to be the pivotal point in him being successful. Especially going into this week and moving forward.
Browns OC Tommy Rees finally cracked open the vault and let everybody know what's really happening with Shedeur Sanders' development. And let's just say it didn't sound like your standard corporate approved, he's working hard type of fluff. Nope.
And then you press the guys around him to raise their level of play and play well to continue to breathe confidence into young players and into the young quarterbacks. So that's really been the motivation this week moving forward. And had a good first day of practice, had a good walkthrough this morning, so continue to build off of that.
What's the realistic expectation for what that week of practice reps can do for Shedeur in terms of from what he did last Sunday to this Sunday?
Yeah, certainly don't try to put any sort of expectation on guys, especially young players.
This was more like a man trying to keep the Titanic afloat using a mop and a prayer. Apparently, the grand strategy for Shedeur is simple. Make him comfortable. That's it. That's the whole NASA-level mission. Forget rocket science. This is football comfort science.
Daryl Ryder, Browns beat reporter, with his expectations for Shedeur Sanders and the Browns against the Raiders.
My gut is feeling good about this one. I'm pretty optimistic. I watched the Raiders Monday night against Dallas. What a train wreck. So, yeah, I'm feeling good about the Browns' defense's chances to make some plays. And then I just think that, they're going to find a way to get Shedeur comfortable, and hopefully they're able to put some things together.
They're digging through every scrap of film, every old playbook, every forgotten concept Shedeur ever liked in his life, probably including the first pass he threw in kindergarten, just to create an environment where he doesn't look like he's trapped in a haunted pocket every time the ball is snapped.
I feel like if Shedeur Sanders balls out, I don't think he's going to remain the starter. We know how Kevin Stefanski feels about Dylan Gabriel. I feel like Shedeur has already proven that he's better. In that little stretch in that second half, damn near winning the game. I just feel like we just got to wait and see, man. But Shedeur definitely need to get the hell out of Cleveland. I'm going to be an advocate about that each and every day. No disrespect to the Cleveland Brown fans, but y'all ain't treating them right. That is y'all football team, the franchise.
And honestly, you can't blame them. Shedeur walked into Cleveland like someone who just transferred schools mid-year and immediately got thrown into a group project with people who hate their major, zero chemistry, negative trust, and an offensive line that communicates like a group chat full of people who muted each other years ago.
Now, we all know Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees played collegiately at Notre Dame. He was a quarterback himself. And then he went on under the Nick Saban regime at Alabama. And you guys got to understand something. Some quarterbacks that play collegiately might have a full grasp and understanding about quarterbacks. But there's some guys that play quarterbacks that really don't give you a great evaluation, such as Dan Orlowski.
But Tommy Rees, bless his coaching soul, says the whole week is about pouring everything into Shedeur. Full focus, full game plan, full stress. Basically, they're treating him like the only child in a family that finally got rich. He gets every rep, every adjustment, every moment of attention. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel is somewhere in the corner like the kid who used to be the favorite until mom read the new report card.
How is it that an offensive line never heard his cadence? How you calling the play? what your cadence and what your rhythm is. How does that happen? How does a quarterback on a National Football League level who was a QB2, meaning the backup, for weeks and never, ever, ever once get the opportunity to do anything with any of the starters? Even if you're not a starter and you're a reserve and the QB1, the starter, is getting all the reps. Let's say, for example...
But when Reese talked about Shedeur's debut, oh, he made it clear that being a backup thrown into the fire is part of the job description. Shedeur did what he could, fought like a man trying to keep his apartment after rent went up, and even had Cleveland within arm's reach of a win, because of course he did. That's the Shedeur experience. Chaos, panic, and then suddenly hope.
How much would this do for the coaching staff if they're able to in 3 days make Shedeur comfortable and confident and ready to roll in an entire NFL game? I know that Vegas is bad, and I know that we wouldn't be through the woods here, but they would have to stand for something, wouldn't it, with everybody?
Yeah, and organizationally too. At this point, you're looking for anything, right, that resembles hope on the offensive side of things.
And the deep ball? According to Reese, the man loves throwing it long. I absolutely love it. It's like giving a kid a water balloon. It's going somewhere and someone's getting hit. They trust him with those downfield bombs, trust the receivers to make the plays, trust the world to align for 30 seconds straight. Unfortunately, trust doesn't catch passes. Cleveland receivers do, and well, we saw how that went.
Let's, for a minute, and this is not, I don't know if this is going to happen, let's assume it's Shedeur Sanders. That Dillon Gabriel doesn't get out of concussion protocol early enough, that Shedeur Sanders gets the start against the Raiders. How does Tommy Rees tweak the offense a little bit to fit Shedeur Sanders? You've watched him. What do you think are some of the tweaks that happen to the offense if it is Shedeur Sanders against the Raiders?
Well, I think Shedeur does a really nice job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly when he sees what he's supposed to see, and I think he's had the most success.
Now, things got extra spicy when Reese broke down what happened against the Ravens. The moment Shedeur stepped in, Baltimore's defensive coordinators threw out whatever game plan they had and said, "New plan, panic now." The blitzes came from everywhere. The ceiling, the vents, the concession stand. It looked like a Madden player hit the blitz everyone, including the mascot button. And Cleveland wasn't exactly prepared.
That's going to be huge, Earl. I think something I'm looking for is going to be huge, in my opinion, is his command at the line of scrimmage. You kind of hit on that, but his ability to, if they give him that access to call, to slide the protections at the line of scrimmage, depending on where the pressure is coming from, right? Because that alone, that intelligence right there will help him be able to see down the field, will help him push the ball down the field, help him get the ball out quickly, right? I think one thing that Dillon did do good was get the ball out quickly, but he wasn't always accurate. So how accurate can Shedeur be against an NFL defense? That's going to be...
Reese admitted they tried everything, shifting the quarterback's launch point, max protection, chest level adjustments, but at some point, you can only do so much when the defense is treating your offensive line like a sliding glass door. Then came the part absolutely nobody asked for, but everyone already suspected. The Browns are averaging criminally low yardage on first down. Historically low. Please don't look up the stat. Low?
We finally got to see the Shedeur Sanders experience, albeit not the most set up for success way possible going in mid-game.
Yeah.
Tough situation for any backup. Everybody's making a big deal that he doesn't get first-team reps in practice. This is the way it works, people.
And that's just the situation that's at hand.
Yeah, the backup quarterback doesn't get reps. There's not enough reps that the starters can get.
You got to be ready, man. You got to be ready.
But I think they've said that Gabriel's in the concussion protocol and Sanders looks like he's going to play this week. So he's going to get a lot of reps this week, and we'll get to see what it really looks like this coming week with.
And yes, that absolutely affects Shedeur, because when you're constantly facing 2nd and 15, life becomes less football and more survival documentary. But the biggest improvement? Shedeur settled into the pocket. Early on, he was doing that thing rookies do where pressure arrives and their feet suddenly forget what species they belong to, running backwards, sideways, diagonally, like someone trying to escape an angry goose. But then he calmed down, started stepping up, started trusting the pocket, started looking like someone who might actually survive Cleveland's offensive experiment.
Empty. And empty gives a quarterback a really clear picture. So Tommy's not a guy who likes to go empty a ton, so maybe using motion, shifts, and empty. When you use motion, shifts, and empty and get the ball out of his hands, Shedeur does a great job. The problem is with Shedeur is in college he didn't have any protection, and now he's lacking for protection at the NFL level. So it's really hard for him to get to the second, third progression, but he can do it. I think a couple things got to happen. One is I don't think they have to change it too much. Maybe keep him in the pocket a little bit. Like I said, a little bit more empty.
And just when things looked promising, there's the inevitable cloud hanging over the whole operation, the Dillon Gabriel situation. Cleveland seems determined to keep him relevant, even though Shedeur walked in, threw lasers, almost stole a win, and had the locker room looking around like, wait, are we allowed to enjoy this? So here's the real question. Do you think Shedeur should stay and fight through the Cleveland chaos, or bail before Max Crosby turns him into a motivational poster for perseverance? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more madness.